U.S. Missouri Congressman Emmanuel Cleaver joins us now on this edition of Newsmakers to talk about his experiences and how things are fresh from the Hill. I'm Joel Jensen, and we're coming to you from the Truman Library. Kind of a fitting place to have this discussion.
It is, because I think Harry Truman was one of the people who created the atmosphere in Washington that things could get done. So much so that when the Medicare bill was finally passed under Lyndon Johnson, he flew from Washington, D.C. with Lady Bird and got in the motorcade and came right here to the Truman Library, and the Medicare bill was signed right here in Independence, Missouri. And the reason for that was it was Harry Truman's idea that we should have some kind of a medical insurance program for seniors so that in their sunset years, they don't have to worry about whether or not I can scrape up enough money to get an eye examination or go to the doctor and have a checkup. So Harry Truman really had impact in Washington even after he left office, left Washington, D.C. And imagine this, he and Beth Truman drove from Washington, D.C. to Kansas City.
Wow, yeah.
This is the ex-president of the United States driving across the country. And so I think that the government in Washington is in many ways a reflection of people who come before the current crop of people. Ike Skelton, for example, when I was elected, and he's like a big brother to me, he told me a couple of things that I never forgot, and one of them was never go out and campaign against another member of Congress from Missouri. And in 10 years, I've never done it. And he said, look, you got to work with these guys. Now, there used to be an unwritten rule that nobody in the Senate would campaign against anybody in the Senate. That went out of the way back in the late 1990s when one of the minority leaders campaigned against the majority leader, who was a Democrat, and all of a sudden the comity and the civility that people in the Senate bragged about went down, and it's only gotten worse.
Well, it does seem that bad news travels faster than good news, and we are getting ready to go into another election cycle. What other kind of advice do you have for voters out there that are trying to distinguish between that's just politicking and who do I vote for?
Well, here's what I make the decision, as many of the citizens do, on who I vote for on a variety of points. And one of them that I think people ought to really give consideration to is this. What will a person do, or what will a person won't do to get to Washington? If somebody is nasty during their campaign and they're running more ads and giving out more negative information about their opponent than they are giving out positive information out about themselves and what they would like to accomplish, that's somebody that voters perhaps should shy away from, because what I have experienced in my decade in Washington, and frankly in my 20 years in Kansas City as city council member and mayor, is that if people are nasty during the campaign, they're pretty much going to be nasty when they get into office. And we don't need that anymore in public office, because we have become the most powerful nation on the planet, and yet we can't even get simple legislation across like a gasoline tax that we desperately need to repair our roads and bridges.
Yeah. I think that's pretty good common sense advice that even Harry Truman would appreciate.
I think so.
Thanks for coming by and spending time with us.
Good to be with you.
That's all the time we have.